Ladies and gentlemen, there's a current trend in Hollywood that anything that's successful for men must therefore be equally successful for women. You see, that's Hollywood's idea of equality, right? Now, if it sounds like that doesn't fit, you're absolutely right. It doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, there is so much that goes into the making of a movie and what makes it worthwhile. You have your script, you have your technical crew, you have the cast, a whole lot of different individuals getting together to try to make a product that's entertaining. However, just because you take male roles and turn them into female roles doesn't mean that's going to be as successful as the male. Like Ghostbusters is a very good example. Okay, Ghostbusters is an iconic classic, among horror comedy, if you will. Well, it worked with the men, so therefore it's got to work with the women too, because that's how we maintain equality. No, it bombed at the box office. Ocean's 11, well, the original was remade. The remake was pretty good, the Clooney Brad Pitt thing. So wait a minute, this worked twice for men. Never mind that the original had the Rat Pack in it, So therefore, it's got to be equally viable for women. Ocean's 8 came out and there have been a plethora of movies that have come out with women taking the parts of men because, well, again, it was successful for them. It'll be successful for us because this is the age of equality. Nah, it just doesn't work out that way, folks. Sorry. And tonight's movie is probably the epitome of how this ideology simply does not work. Cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is in. Say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Fiore, your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. Today's lesson plan is an independent film called LADYWORLD, and it's another one of these movies that takes what was a traditional male story, turns it into female, and tries to be successful. Boy, this movie just misses on every mark imaginable. I can't tell you how bad this movie really is. I'm sorry to say it because, I try to find something nice to say about any movie. There's got to be some redeeming value. I found I had to struggle mightily to get to the ending of this. And if I wasn't doing a review on it, I can tell you that I probably would have ended this after about the first 30 minutes and said, that's it, I'm done. Okay? There is confusion in the script. What exactly is going on in this story? Now, my first initial reaction was, well, it's an earthquake, But then, well, is it an alien invasion? Was it a terrorist attack? You really don't find out until the end of the movie. And actually, if it had gone in any way but being a natural earthquake, the movie might have had a little glimmer of hope. Might have had. Okay? To take the script, which is already confusing, and then put it together in the way that it is, makes it even more confusing. This movie is very poorly edited. I mean, scenes jump. There is large gaps in the narrative that either ended up on the editing room floor or were never in the script in the first place. And the viewer is forced to make giant leaps connecting sequences together that, if you're not steeped in the original material, you have no clue as to what's going on here. Here's what they tried to do. And let me tell you that the writer and director of this movie is Amanda Kramer. And what has happened here is they have tried to make a female version of Lord of the Flies. All right, now everybody is familiar with Lord of the Flies. It is a literary classic, and it certainly has a lot of social commentary in it and what have you. But the Lord of the Flies is primarily male-dominated, so now it's time the females have to do it. And this is a modern version. We're not stuck on a deserted island somewhere. This is happening actually in Los Angeles. So what happens is there is an earthquake. These girls are trapped in the house, and they pretty much reenact what happened with Lord of the Flies, setting up into different, every time, and critics have this advantage, which unfortunately you folks don't. Every time a movie comes out, we get a fairly thick packet of production notes, and they can range anywhere from 20 to 40, sometimes even more pages that give you detailed information about the filmmakers and the production itself, what was going on, how they were trying to approach something. Sometimes this information is just sensory overload, but sometimes it's very valuable. And after this movie was over, I went back to the production notes saying, what in the world were these people trying to do? Because the movie just is nonsensical. And once I read the production notes, I understood what they were trying to do. The female modern version of Lord of the Flies. Whoa, baby! Swing and a miss! Yeah, they didn't come anywhere close on this one. This was just, oh my God. I needed a stiff drink after watching this. That's how poorly it was put together. The music was by Callie Ryan. The editors on this thing were Ben Sheeran and Noel Taylor. Shame, shame, shame on you. And the cinematography was done by Pat Jones. Pat is kind of sleepwalking through this. There's nothing, as far as the cinematography is concerned, that makes this worthwhile at all. There's one sequence, where they're looking at the air vent, and there's like a canted angle shot, and you say, well, okay, that one was pretty good, but everything else here is just, the connection, the story between what is happening to these girls, and it's not there. There's no rhyme nor reason for their actions. It's just sporadic. And when you find the groups getting made, you didn't really find out what was going on until they were all there for a birthday party. There weren't a whole lot of them there. So what happened to the other ones? And why were these people invited to a birthday party? Because none of them like each other. I don't know. Do women do this on a regular basis? Do you invite people to a birthday celebration that you hate and despise? Guys don't do that. So maybe I had an identity problem right from the get-go, but with the feelings that are flying around in this house, no. So totally disjointed, so totally unexplained. The narrative in this is just terrible. The stars in this are Aurelia Barber, she plays Olivia. Annalise Basso plays Piper. Ryan Simpkins plays Dolly, and Odessa Adlon plays Blake. I'd like to give the girls credit and say, okay, I'm glad that you made the cast, and I'm sure they gave it their best try. This material just isn't cutting the mustard at all. And here's another example of women-driven projects trying to incorporate women into an already established male story and thinking it's going to be successful just because, well, we have women in it now and women deserve their turn. A word of caution to producers and even studios, independent and big, alike. If you want to push women in big roles, in big movies, be original. Rip-offs of what's gone on in the past and just inserting females, that's the coward's way out. That's the cheap way out. That's saying we want to celebrate women, but we don't want to be creative about it. And that is insulting. The name of this movie is LADYWORLD. It's available on VOD. So if you want to see how they adapted Lord of the Flies and made it modern, And maybe Lord of the Flies is one of your favorite literary works and you want to scope it out, by all means, feel free to do so and contact me. If you find some redeeming value in this that perhaps just eluded me, I don't think that's going to happen. This movie was probably one of the worst movies that I had to sit through so far this year. Now that you have learned, what you have learned, here ended.